What's up guys, welcome to Munchkins Gaming, where we take your gaming to the next level. This is Munchkins logging in to bring you another Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia video. And welcome back to another Should You Pull video, where I give you my opinions for upcoming banners coming to the global version of the game. In this video, we are going to take a look at the Ultimate Odin banner, which will include Noctis LD and Burst weapons, alongside with a few characters here and there. There will be two banners for this one. Now before we start, like and subscribe if you haven't already, because it does help this channel and I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. And without further ado, let's start this video. So the biggest thing that is going to happen with the release of the Ultimate Odin banner is going to be Noctis rework. Yes, he's going to get another rework. So the changes are basically for his ability 1, this will now be a 2-hit range brave plus 2-hit AoE range brave attack, then delivers an HP attack. This will now also have a 50% splash damage to non-targets. Now the plus variants will trigger his usual follow-up attack, however this will have an additional hit, basically now doing a 3-hit range brave attack plus HP attack. And it will still get an increase in brave hit count when you have the armature buff up. This will have a 120% max brave overflow, and now the plus variant will not increase the turn count as well. Now as for his second ability Death Drop or Warp Strike, this will now have an increase in brave hit count to 4 and will have a 150% max brave overflow limit. Now for the plus variant, he will have that trigger follow-up attack again, and it's pretty much the same thing, and the plus variant for Death Drop or Warp Strike will not increase the turn count as well. Alright, moving on to Noctis LD. Now this will give him the ability called Steel Pirouette, which will have 2 uses at its base and will do an 8-hit AoE range brave plus AoE HP attack. This will have a 150% max brave overfill limit and will do a 100% HP damage to all targets. This will grant him 3 stacks of armature, 8 turns of Bonds of Amity, and 1 turn of Warp Step to the entire party. Now this will trigger the additional usual hits that he will do when the enemy is afflicted with the point blank range. So Bonds of Amity basically grants an initial brave up and a brave regen, basically 80% increase for your initial brave and 80% of brave regen of the initial brave. Now Warp Step basically raises the party's attack and moves their next turn just before the target, basically giving them Noctis's abilities or power, whatever you want to call it. Now at 1 out of 3 limit break, this will increase his attack by 10% and increasing the brave damage dealt. A 2 out of 3 gets another increase in attack and increases the Bonds of Amity duration by 8 turns and increases the Warp Step duration by an additional 1 turn. And at 3 out of 3, this will increase his attack again and grants him 1 extra use of Steel Pirouette. Now let's talk about his burst, which will give him the burst ability called Legacy of the Luci or Lucy. Basically this is going to be a 15-hit range brave attack plus HP attack. The brave hit count does increase while the armature is active, so basically it will be a 16-hit brave hit instead of the 15. This will have a maximum brave damage limit additional of 100% and 200% for the maximum obtainable brave plus HP damage. Now the burst effect is really nice. This will last for 3 turns. This basically will trigger the follow-up attack after a party member's attack. So instead of just his usual follow-up with his own abilities, he will now follow up during party members attack as well. Now there is a few changes from this follow-up attack from his usual one. This will increase his brave by 20% of the HP damage dealt, and this cannot initiate any chase sequence and does not trigger any will not trigger after a chase or counter abilities as well. Now this can actually trigger during other characters' burst phase. Now some of you might be scratching your head, what does this mean? Because you can only have 1 burst basically for the entire fight, right? Even if you have multiple burst weapons for other characters, you will not be able to trigger them. This actually just applies to co-op. As you guys know, if you have a co-op with other people and they have their burst weapon, then basically they can use their burst as well. So once you use your burst and they use their burst, you will still be triggering this particular ability for your own Noctis, which is very, very powerful when you think about it when it comes to co-op. So if you are doing co-ops, you will still technically have a turn despite being other people's turn. So there you go. Alright guys, now let's talk about Noctis LD and bursts. I mean, just pull, right? But in all seriousness, guys, with Noctis getting yet another rework, yes, another rework, this is not the first time around. I think this is a much milder version compared to his previous rework, and of course, if you compare it to other reworks. However, even though I say that, he actually got quite a lot, even though it doesn't look like a lot in paper. He gets additional brave hits, he gets a splash damage, but the biggest thing is his plus variance for his abilities does not increase his turn count anymore. So this is, I think, probably the I guess the broken part of his rework. So I am one of those people that think even without this rework and you just added his LD and burst, he would still be pretty broken in my eyes. So he is just more broken now because of the rework. I do feel like the power that he gets is more on the LD and burst rather than the rework itself. So letting other party members actually have his own, you know, power, which they would follow up. I mean, they would basically go on to the turn before the enemy and things like that, and him following up with all the party members' attack instead of just his own, I think is just very, very powerful and just takes like damage per turn to a whole new level. Alright guys, so we're finally at the end of this video, and the final question remains, should you pull? If I didn't make it clear enough, I think you should pull for Noctis's LD and burst weapon included. So the biggest thing is obviously getting the LD first. If you don't get the burst for the banner, there are, you know, future banners that will have Noctis's burst weapon there as well. So for example, for me personally, the two banners, the only EX weapon I actually don't have is Irvine's EX weapon. So I'm probably gonna pull on that particular banner, because on the off chance that I get Irvine's EX weapon, that's an additional win for me. So I would say take a look at your roster, which EX you already own, and go to the banner without, you know, the banner that you don't have the character's EX on, and just pull there, and hopefully you get the LD. If you don't get the burst weapon, we do have a few more banners where you can actually grab Noctis's burst. So one of the banners that is upcoming is going to be Bosch's Lost Chapter. So if you don't have Bosch's like full kit, then you know you can go in that banner and grab his burst weapon there instead of the two banners here. Now the next one is going to be Nine's banner as well, which is a brand new character for the global version of the game, which means you can grab all of Nine's weapons, plus you can chase after Noctis's burst weapon. So if you don't get it on this particular banner, then I suggest just wait, you know, and go for the next one. So I guess the biggest thing here is if you get the LD, you can technically stop and then just wait for the next banner, which will include, you know, Bosch's LD as well. So you can grab it there, or go to the next one where you can grab all of Nine's abilities. I mean, not abilities, weapons, and then you can still grab Noctis's burst that way. I personally feel like I'm gonna be just pulling for his burst straight up in this banner. I don't know. I might, if I do get the LD first, there's a chance that I might stop and just go to Bosch's banner and probably pull there, because I do want Bosch's LD since I already have his EX weapon, and I did EX plus him, but I didn't EX plus him to the max. But yeah, I have some thinking to do. I do have a few days to think about it, at least at the time of this recording. So anyway guys, I think that is basically it. Please do remember to click like and subscribe if you haven't already. It does help this channel, and I really do appreciate all the support that you guys give me. And of course, it helps with the YouTube algorithm as well. And if you don't want to miss any of my videos, hit the bell button, you know, and leave down in the comments below, what are your plans? Are you planning to pull everything in this banner for Noctis, both his LD and burst, or are you gonna wait for the future banners where, you know, you can grab his burst weapon there and just chasing his LD for this particular banner? So it really depends on your situation. If you don't obviously have all the EX weapons that are featured in these banners, I do highly suggest just pulling and hopefully you getting the burst weapon that way. But in the off chance like you're like me, then I would suggest you can wait for the burst and chase after it in the next two banners. Anyway guys, that's it for this video. This is Munchkins logging off. Oh, one more thing. Make sure to follow me on Twitter and on Facebook at Munchkins Gaming. This is Munchkins logging off. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next level.